What? So how? Like after I introduce them, are you recording right now?
Live.
I don't do this,
Here.
Jason. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how.
The umbilical cord has been cut.
He chopped it.
He does it all the time.
It at you.
Okay. It's Tuesday, June 13th. We are about a week out from competition. We check in Franklin, Tennessee on Wednesday of next week. Jason is on the sound thingy mabob today. I don't know all the technical terms, so we won't be hearing from him. But it might be the first and only time that you get that, so enjoy it. But we do have two folks with us here in the barn. They're actually one of my sponsors. They were one of our sponsors last year for Bing, and they were gracious enough to be a sponsor again this year for me and Sandy, and that is Chris and Abby Bromwich. They own CBM Training out of Moscow Mills, Missouri. And if you guys want to say hello and tell us just a little bit about your business.
Hi, this is Abby. We have had the business since 2008. Haven't added those years together in a while, so do the math. We are mainly a riding lesson facility up in our area. We specialize in beginner riding lessons. My husband Chris trains horses when he has time. A lot of his time's taken up with his full-time construction job and hay and all of that, and riding our own young horses that we breed ourselves. I spend most of my time teaching riding lessons. We do English, Western, pretty much any beginning level, anything that we can think of or that our students want to do. So,
Yeah, we try to focus on just the foundation. We don't get offended if customers, move on from us and go to somebody that specializes in a discipline that they want to do. But we're content with that, just to kind of stay for the beginner level. There's a lot of need for that out there of people just getting a good foundation, both on their horse and their riding ability to where they can go elsewhere.
Awesome. Now what, Jason?
What have you been doing with Sandy?
What's been going on with Sandy?
Yeah, we come down and she looks good, but what are some of the things you've been working on?
Actually, first I want to appreciate you guys very much for always being willing to help with this. It's such a big undertaking. Is that the correct word? And to have people to be surrounded with people that are willing to lend a helping hand and always be up for that kind of thing. I really appreciate you guys last year, this year, and everything that you've done in between.
You're welcome.
But Sandy, yeah, so we have gotten to do a few things since we were last on here. We had my trail ride that some other sponsors of mine put on for me, where they did a big breakfast in the morning, and then we went out on a ride, and they had this cool little poker chip challenge. And it was a great turnout. I think we had 18 trail riders that day with us, and Sandy took it all in stride. She did great with the public. She did great with new horses, different horses, riding around different horses. We had a demo that morning as well where Jason did a devotion. I think Jason, have you posted that? No, he has not posted that yet, but he has taken, or they did take video. His daughter Kate was videoing him that morning. It was a great devotion. Then we did a demonstration with Sandy, and she, again, took all of that in stride as well. We have been really fine-tuning skills that we have already laid the foundation for, and just getting those things better, because we're a week out, so we need to focus on things that we already know. I feel like anyway, things that we already know, things that we already have the ground laid for, and fine tuning those, because that's going to be what makes our show successful, opposed to trying to teach her new things and then get there and they kind of fall apart because they're not solid at that point. We have, Jason, I've been riding with him every day, I think for almost a week now, and just getting eyes on me each ride and picking little things of what we can work on. And like yesterday, we worked on getting straight in between my legs and going straight for whether it be ground poles, trotting over ground poles, whether it be the bridge. It's going to help whenever Carrie comes in tomorrow to help me with jumps, is just getting her straight in between my legs and going forward and over. She's taken it. I mean, I have no qualms about her. There's nothing that I would say that she is struggling with necessarily, because in all actuality, at this point in time, she's a 90-day colt. And I can't expect anything from her that I wouldn't expect from another 90-day colt, because Jason said it from the beginning. I've said it before in the recording, that trust the process. And so that is the goal. I'm going to be hauling her out tomorrow to a different arena, which we did last week as well. She took that really well. I'm going to be trail riding her another day this week just to get her out and do no training, just to be able to drop her head and walk around and walk down the trail. And then I'll probably haul her out again at some point in time. Oh, I am, because I have a show on Saturday down there in Northwest Arkansas. So it'll be her first show. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll start with an in-hand class, and then hopefully get some rail classes in there and some pattern classes in there too.
Awesome.
But what questions do you guys have about the process and about some things that, as Abby points to Chris, we're struggling a little bit, because Jason's normally, he's the one that guides the conversation and asks the questions, and he's got that radio voice as Chris does as well, we found out. So hopefully they can help kind of guide through the rest of this conversation, because we're a little lost.
Yeah, one big question, you've kind of already hit on it today, of just not so much throwing new stuff on her, but just going back and hitting on that stuff she already knows. I know when Chris Shore sat in with you guys, one of his big things was that, just trusting the process. I know there's a lot of, the students in that I have back home. You teach them a drill and they think, okay, we got that drill down. What's the next drill? But there's so many things that we can do in a drill to make it harder. Well, if you can do it two-handed, it could be a whole different world just trying to do it one-handed, which I know you're trying to do with some,
yes.
Poles and stuff out here with Sandy earlier. So, just how important is that foundation going into something like this to fall back on it?
So what I really find is that everything we do, that foundation that we lay, the reason that we need to have it so solid is because we're going into uncharted territory. So we're going to the show in this big facility, air conditioning, lights, lots of people, a crowd, and she needs to be able to know whenever I touch her, whenever I go to ask her something, that's almost a comfort for her, because she's like, okay, she's still up there. I'm going to trust her to guide me through this. And whenever that kind of stuff is questionable with them, when we spend so much time I feel like whenever we spend so much time trying to throw 500 things at them and get just a little bit of everything, instead of saying, all right, let's get this really good, so that whenever we go in there is no question. Whenever she is worried, when she is concerned, or when she's looking at the little kid running down the bleachers, like, there's no question that, hey, both of my legs are on. That means that I should be going forward at whatever gate she put me at. And so that's why I think that it's so important to really fine tune and focus on those basics, instead of trying to make her into a performance horse in 90 days.
Right.
I think that it would work against her mentality more than it would benefit her.
Yeah.
And for the people that's going to end up with her. I mean, she's going to go home with somebody, and I want that whenever they go out there and they squeeze their legs, she goes forward. When they bring their hands over to the left, that she goes left. And the better that I can make that, the better the possibility of her being successful after she leaves me.
Right. Focus on those things that every rider is going to ask and expect, rather than, maybe just something specific to one discipline.
Yes. The spotlight's on Abby.
Yeah. We talked earlier about kind of like your overall goals. Like, do you have any like small goals for each judged portion?
So that's so hard.
It's the teacher in me.
There is not necessarily placings though.
Right.
But like I think about each judge class and I think about maybe the portion that may not be a struggle, but maybe the portion that she's a little weaker in or isn't her strongest point. And so I'll be really honest, the in-hand class, and it's not because I think she'll necessarily struggle with it. I think if there's gonna be a part, that could be it. Yeah. But it's the part that Bing stumbled on me just a little bit in the in-hand, and that was we have to load into an unknown trailer.
Okay.
And so it is. We go through the big portion, catching them, lifting their feet, ground tying, brushing, trotting in hand, all of that. But then you walk up into an unknown trailer in the middle of this arena.
Right.
And being, he didn't tell me no, but I could feel him. I'm just like, keep walking, because I could feel him hesitate. And so with her, I'm trying to get her in every trailer that we have.
That shows up or.
Yes. But it's like that hesitation. And okay, what am I going to do when that hesitation arrives? I'm going to keep walking. I'm not going to look at her.
Right.
I'm just going to keep walking because my confidence hopefully will carry her through it. And then in the maneuvers class, we've been working on lope offs.
Okay.
And so that's kind of a new thing. Like I tried working on it a couple of weeks ago and I felt like there were just a few things missing. I probably could have made it through it, but I'm like, this could go better. Like this could be better. And so I got with Jason, and Jason helped me for a few days of getting a few things better out in the big outdoor, and then come back to it 1,000 times better. I'm so grateful and glad that I did that. And then in the trail pattern, just that I've shown her enough stuff and I've changed enough stuff up that whenever we go in there, she doesn't go, blah. This was an empty arena 24 hours ago. What is this stuff? Because we don't get to go in there before we go the trail pattern. Yeah. So I'm just hoping that I've shown her enough that even though there's new things that she's confident. And with the trail pattern, we were talking about it yesterday. If she's worried about something and you go to to squeeze your legs, she just goes for it. She's like, the best option right here is if I'm just going to go right over there. Right. I'm worried, but that's where I'm going to go. And then she'll get, if she gets a little close, then I'll stop and I'll rest her for a second. And then you go to wrap your legs to leave it. And almost her first response almost is, I'm going to go a little closer. I'm going to put my nose on it, or I'm going to touch it. Right. And so I'm hoping that will work in our favor. Yeah.
Good. You portraying yourself as a lot more confident going into this. I'm sure that has a lot because this is the second time.
You're such a liar, Chris.
No, you do. You seem a lot calmer talking about it this year, and I'm sure a lot of that just has to do with you've been through it once. You kind of know what some of the obstacles may be, or you found some maybe not big holes, but just some things that maybe being worried about that you didn't know you were going to have to get him set up for. So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is a lot just being there, you're calmer about it, and you have a better approach.
It's more, I think it's more about, so Abby, I think you asked me earlier today, whenever you asked me about goals, and I was like, well, last year was just to survive.
Yeah.
And that was because I didn't have any idea going into it.
No expectations, no comprehension of what was coming.
Yes. And so I had no idea how to plan those for those goals. Like, I don't know what my goals are because I really don't know what I'm planning for. I just want my horse broke. Like, just get my horse broke. And so with this one, because I know of what I'm going into, I'm able to set those specific goals and gear her towards it. I don't know if it's because I'm still, I don't know if terrified is the right word. Anxious, nervous, all those things. And so those feelings are definitely still there, but I do know what to plan for. I do, and I can make goals where I would love to be able to say, well, my goal this year is I just want to survive again. But I think it was Jason and I, we were talking about something, and somebody had said that your goal every horse show can't just be to survive.
Right.
Like you have to, no, it doesn't have to be to win, but you have to have, like those goals have to build. Those goals have to get bigger.
You start with your achievable goals and you work them up to your, this is my goal for this show this day, and then this is my goal for this ride. I mean, you go into every ride with this is what I would like to achieve today. And showing is very similar.
Not get bucked off. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Showing's very similar in my experience. It's okay, this show, I mean, this is what I'd like to see happen with my horse, whether it's softness or consistency of pace or this or that. I mean, as you get further along, I mean, at 90 days, we're not looking for as much consistency of pace or softness. We're looking for their mind to be there, and when you ask them to do something, they go, yeah, I trust you. And so,
and that's just trying really hard to have my mind frame to be different than just to survive.
Yeah.
And so that's hard. Because I feel like most days I'm my own worst critic, but I feel like that just my goal is to be better than we were last year.
Yeah.
And to not have, I'm teaching students. I'm sure you never want your students to come back with the same problem twice.
Yeah.
And and so that's
a goal.
I just don't want to come out of this makeover with the same problem twice. Like I would like for, and as Jason says, sometimes we got to pee on the fence. So sometimes we do come back with the same problem twice because we didn't heat it the first time. And so, but I'm hoping, like, that's my goal, is that I don't come back with the same problem twice.
Yeah.
She looks pretty calm. Has she been that way the whole time? I mean, today there was a colt being just started first ride on. There was 4 other people riding in the same arena, and
all cows
out
stuff.
there. She looks like she just doesn't care about nothing. Has she been that way the whole time?
Yeah. She's been one to look, but she's never been one to leave the country. She's never been one to fret and continue to fret. But to say, like, I've seen some people on there, well, my horse isn't spooky at all. She'll look. She will look. Now, it took me a little bit to really start whenever in the beginning, whenever I would go in there with other people riding around, I would just kind of let her find herself, because she was nervous. She was a little anxious. And so I just kind of put my hand down, let her trot around and let her look at stuff, because it wasn't going to get any better me not allowing that. So, and then she's in it every day. Cows, however, this was I think in the very beginning, I may have trotted her around some cows, but this was the first day that I used her to sit in the corner, turn back. And I was.
Yeah, she didn't
She
look
did
phased
great.
at all.
Yeah.
And whenever you walked up here, I expected her to kind of side eye you, but she didn't. You were not.
Yeah, she looks pretty good. I think it's just maybe a view of the Mustangs or whatever, that they're all flighty and all that. And I mean, I've only worked with one Mustang in all my years, and
He had a quarter horse Mustang.
Yeah, they are definitely
doesn't know.
looky like you're saying, but I mean, she just looks so chill. And I would imagine it's a zoo around here most days.
Yes.
With Jason, here, have you tried this yet? And just grab onto this pole. And,
Walk around in a circle.
He did do that to me today. I was a little nervous, but I figured you have to. Whenever he said that, I was like, okay, is he being serious? Like, or is he being sarcastic right now? And so, but I normally, if he's serious, Jason has done plenty of observing to keep me out of trouble.
Right.
Like I can't, unless he's flapping his arms outside of the fence as I'm on a colt. He doesn't normally do anything that'll get me hurt. Like he's pretty confident in what he's asking me to do, or else he wouldn't be asking me to do it. But it is a zoo. I mean, and for the first 2 weeks she lived in here. And so that tractor that came by, like she stood there while I saddled her where the tractor came in so he could drag it. Mm-hmm. That was her life. And so she's kind of used to the
comings and goings
in here.
is that part of the reason you want to take her to the show this weekend? Is just new arena, new sights, new sounds, announcers, and just figuring it out now?
Yes.
You got a week left.
Yes. Yes. And I was going to take her to one other show in the very beginning, but people's safety is very important to me. And it was in the indoor. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of room. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't confident enough in her ability to stay calm, surrounded by people on foot, because that was one of her biggest concerns, was people approaching her. And I was like, I think I'm going to wait. As much as it would be good for her, not at the expense of somebody else.
Right.
And so I waited. We've had lots of people come in here, and I've led her through horses and led her through people and all of that. So I'm now confident that we can get through that kind of environment without her leaving. But you're talking about Mustangs being flighty. Bing was the farthest thing from flighty. I think it did not show in the trail pattern. Like I know that, but I mean, there wasn't much that bothered him. He
wasn't like trying hard to spook in the trail pattern. He was looking, and he was not confident.
Yes.
But he wasn't trying to like
leave me.
Yes. And I mean, the one Mustang I was telling you about earlier, I mean, she'd leave you.
Yeah.
She'd take it under her power, and she said, "We don't trust this. We out. Whether you're with me or not, I'm out." Mm-hmm. And yeah, not all of them are like that, but there are enough of them that they and that one came off when she was 1.5 years. It wasn't even like she was 7, like Sandra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. They're each their own, but I think like any other horse, we've got we've got quarter horses here that
they'll leave.
Yeah, we'll leave, and so I that's kind of how I try to approach it. Is she's just another horse?
Yep.
And luckily she's came around to that perspective. But Jason, how are we doing on time? As in good, or as in we need to wrap up? Oh, okay.
You got any fears of her settling down, taking her to a new place and drinking and eating and?
No, I don't. I don't really. I think that because she likes, now that she knows what it is, she likes her feed. We
all do.
Yeah. But I am going to, starting tomorrow night, she's going to spend 3 nights at one of my other sponsors, K&R Stables, because they have stalls. Mm-hmm. And so she's going to go and she's going to spend the night there, eat, drink, be merry, and see. And then that's also going to allow me to see how she is riding her after she's been in a stall all night.
You're gonna ride her over there then?
Yes.
Those 3
and
days?
then,
Cool.
Yes. And then and so we'll see how she handles all of that, but also be able to see, is she going to eat and drink at a strange place, and which like I said, since she's found pellets, she likes pellets. She likes them a lot. If she sees your truck coming down the road here, I can guarantee you she's going to be waiting at her feed bucket for you.
It's time.
It's time. It took her long enough to eat them, so I'm glad she eats them well now.
How do you feel like conditioning wise, being to her, like how you feel there? Because I know that's part of what they look at when they get there.
As far as how they look? Is that what you're...
Yeah. I mean, and comparatively, like things you learned with Bing. I mean, he went from scraggly and...
He was still scraggly.
Pretty rough looking. He looked a lot better.
He did look a lot better. Bing was a hard guy to get weight on.
But you placed pretty good in that one.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We placed 6th in the conditioning and handling, but he was really good for me in hand.
Okay.
And I think that did make a difference.
Huge difference.
But he was just not an easy keeper. Now, looking at him now, because his owners have sent me pictures, he is chunky. He is living the best life, spoiled. Sandy, as soon as she started eating, like I think in a week she gained 100 pounds. I mean, she was all drawn up. She was a little ribby and drawn up in the flank. And then she started eating and drinking really good. And it was no longer an issue. She filled out good, quick. And she's, I think as far as looks go, that she has more eye appeal than Bing did.
Yeah.
And she's big. People like big.
Yeah, she is. She's got a nice sturdy hoof, nice good thick leg.
Yeah, bone structures.
Yeah.
She's got it going.
Yep.
Yes.
And she will be for sale, correct?
Yes. Yep. She will auction off after. So if we do not make top 10, she will auction off in the non-finalist auction Saturday midday. If we make top 10, then she will be auctioned off after the finals, after the freestyles.
Cool.
So.
Well, I think somebody will be getting a really nice mare out of it.
I need to throw in there, Abby, you said earlier.
Yeah. She'd do English. She would do English.
Which that's, like I said, Carrie had said that before too. She's definitely, now I'm still going to, Carrie promised, if I could get her broke to where she didn't have to worry about her bucking her off. She
told my life as well.
She told me that she would ride her in an English get up. So
nice.
I'm gonna hold her to it.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna hold her to it.
Nice. So be looking at your Facebook page for that.
Yeah, we'll be watching. Because yes, I agree. She moves. She's got a big old trot. Her canter's nice and flowy. And she's tall. They'd like her.
And so anybody that wants an English horse and is going to be at Tennessee.
Can somebody register ahead of time and do this online as well?
Mustang Heritage Foundation just shared a post to register, for bidders to register.
Okay.
So they can go on there, and I'm not sure what it all entails.
Yeah. Do they get a lot of in-person as well as online bidding, or is it kind of more in-person?
I don't think they're doing online bidding this year. Okay. I think that it's just in person.
Okay.
I'm not, because they've changed that back and forth a little bit, or I've read different things, and so I'm not 100% certain of that fact, but last thing I heard was they were just doing in person.
Yeah.
But I hope, but she's not, and I'm going to put it out here too. I'm going to be very honest at the stalls.
Right.
Where I like this mare. I like her a lot. But she, where Bing was, he would have been good for just about anybody that wasn't looking into going into endurance riding. Endurance riding probably would not have been Bing's strong point, but But with her, she's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I that is my priority as far as talking to people, is to make sure that she gets into the best home.
Is that just a personality thing, or a what she needs as far as riding?
Bing was very forgiving. So he was one of those that would ask you 3 times if you were sure. And she's not going to ask you, like you were talking about Vesper being sensitive.
Yeah.
And so she's sensitive as well.
Okay.
And so if you're asking something, then
she's in.
Yeah, you need to be well aware of your body, because she's going to respond to it in one way or another. But like I said, I like her. I like her a lot. I hope that I can take her and I can do her justice into showing her to a prospective home. Because that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what the competition's for.
Right.
It is the competition aspect. Listen, I am in it to build my confidence and to get into the competition part of it more.
Well, to build your name.
Yeah. But this competition, the whole reason for it is to get these Mustangs in homes.
Right.
And to showcase what they can do and how they can work. So hopefully I can do her justice in that aspect.
Right. Now, did you know Bing's buyers beforehand, or did you meet them there? And
I met them there.
Okay.
Actually, the daughter of his owners reached out, friended me on Facebook or something like that. And I can remember she commented on one of my posts and she said, I have him picked to win.
Aw.
And that she had told her mom about him. And then Barbie is his owner, and she came to the stalls and met him. And they ended up with him, and they do ranch horse shows.
Okay.
And I got to have him over the winter just a little bit, and now she loves him. She loves him. Her last message was that she just loves him so much.
Awesome.
So, and he's doing well for them. He's what they need. Mm-hmm. He's doing great at shows for them, and so she sent me a picture of ribbons her son-in-law had showed him.
That's awesome.
And got and won some classes and won High Point, and they were very happy with him. So that's the kind of story I want for Sandy. Is I want her to go into a good home that she can be successful in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, we won't be down there with you, but we're a phone call away if you.
I don't remember exactly what the message read, but right before I left, and I wish I would have, because I could find it. Right before I left last year,
I was just going to say, remember that this is a test.
Yes.
And we've taken all kinds of tests throughout school and all that, and there's no reason to get more uptight on it than we have to. But all a test is it tells you where you're at that giving time. It doesn't tell you what you're capable of doing. So, I mean, that's always my advice I like to share when we go to these shows. It's judges' opinions. They tell us, what they see, things that we can work on, and it doesn't have to be bad reviews. It's just like things you learn from being and, in the whole show thing, but take that and go on it. But we won't be down there, but I was going to share that advice with you again. But I say we're a phone call away if you want to chit-chat or need to stop by somewhere in transit.
Or need somebody to talk me off a ledge.
Yeah. I'm good at that.
So, but you got our full support. We're glad that we could help with some of it, and we enjoy.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, enjoy the opportunity to come down and ride with you and Jason a little bit today while we were somewhat close on vacation. And
I'm glad that we're worthy of a pit stop during vacation.
Oh yeah, it was a little weird. I got my nails done, and I'm like riding around. I'm like, my nails are really fancy for this.
But yeah, she looks good. I think you guys will do great and show everything you've worked on.
Thank you very much. And I think Jason leaves tomorrow. I'm like, nod your head, Jason. That's what I need you to do.
Which would be Wednesday.
Yes. Jason leaves tomorrow for Nick Dowers. So I'm not going to necessarily be on my own, but I have got some stuff planned towards the end of this week. Like I said, his wife, Carrie, is going to come and help me a couple of days with jumps and pick on me just a little bit. And then we're going to haul out some places. And then Jason gets back on Sunday. I leave on Monday. That's the plan, tentative plan anyway. And then Jason and Carrie will be leaving Tuesday, I believe, to come down there. So hopefully they'll be there to talk me off the ledge too.
You got this.
You'll be fine.
Yep, you got this.
But I think we probably won't have another conversation until after the makeover. Is that correct, Jason? And then, or at. Hey, we could do it. We could do it.
You'll get to hear them talk her off the ledge.
Yeah, you'll get to hear the talk off the ledge. But you will hear from us again, a wrap up or a in the process of one or the other. You will hear from us again. But thanks for listening, and you can follow me on Facebook, Ride for the Brand Horse Training, or Casey Hollingsworth. You can also find this on YouTube. JC Horsemanship is Jason's YouTube and Facebook page, and so you can follow us there to get updates on how the makeover goes. Again, it is next week. We check in on Wednesday. We start to show on Thursday and Friday, and then finals will be on Saturday. Okay, that's a wrap.